On the night of October 14th, 2020, around 9:17 p.m., in a quiet neighborhood in Maplewood, Missouri, a doorbell camera captured something that still chills people to this day. A young girl, maybe 10 years old, walked slowly toward the porch of a brick house at the end of Riverbend Street. She was holding a small lantern light, her hands shaking, her eyes wide, filled with fear. She kept glancing behind her every few seconds as if someone or something was following. Then came her trembling whisper, "Can someone please help me?" Her voice cracked, followed by 3 desperate knocks. But the house she had reached that night was empty. The family who lived there, the Morrison family, were on a weekend trip miles away. No one was home to answer. "To help me, please." The girl stood at the door for almost 2 minutes, looking around in panic before disappearing into the dark street. By the time the homeowners checked their footage the next morning, she was gone. No lantern was found, no footprints, no reports of a missing child in the area. Police searched every corner of Maplewood, but there was nothing. And then came the theories. Some said it was a setup, that criminals used a frightened child to lure homeowners into opening their doors. But when you listen to that voice, that trembling, heartbreaking voice, you realize it was too real to be faked. Others suggested she might have been Emily Carver, a 9-year-old girl who had disappeared from Bentonville, Arkansas 8 months earlier. Emily had a history of running away from foster homes, but one night she vanished completely. Her last known location? Just 180 miles from where this footage was recorded. Could she have escaped and begged for help at a stranger's door? Or was it someone else entirely, another lost child whose story no one ever heard? Police later confirmed the girl's face didn't match Emily's perfectly, but many online still believe it was her, terrified, desperate, and unseen. Wind picks up, faint whisper, "Please help," plays again. 6 years later, no one knows who that little girl was. The video remains online, silent, grainy, haunting. And if you watch closely, just as she turns to look behind her, you can see it. A shadow, faint but visible, moving at the very edge of the frame. No one knows what it was following her or where she went after that night. Doorbell ding, echoes softly. Some knocks never stop echoing, even when the door stays closed. 2 days after the Morrison family returned home, Mrs. Morrison sat down to check the doorbell notifications she'd missed. At first, she thought it was just an animal wandering through the porch, but when she hit play, she froze. The screen showed that same terrified little girl standing at her doorstep clutching a lantern, her lips trembling, her eyes darting to the left side of the camera frame. There was something or someone moving in the dark behind her. Mrs. Morrison immediately called the Maplewood Police Department. Detectives arrived within the hour, and the footage spread quickly through the community. No one recognized the girl. Not a single school, not a single parent. Detective Aaron LeClaire, who led the case, later said, "It's one of those clips that stays with you. You can feel she's in real danger, but we don't know from who." The police went door to door across Riverbend Street. They even pulled nearby traffic footage, but the girl never appeared again. It's like she vanished the moment she stepped off that porch. That's when investigators discovered something disturbing. Exactly 2 houses down on the same street, a family had moved out 3 days before the footage was recorded. The reason? They'd reported hearing knocks at their door every night around the same time. No one ever stood outside when they checked. The knocks had started a week before the girl appeared. Police traced the serial number of the lantern she carried. It was part of a limited batch sold at a roadside shop 40 miles away. When they checked the store's security tapes, they found a grainy clip of a man buying that lantern. He wasn't local. He wore a hood and his car plates were covered with duct tape. But on the counter, beside the lantern, was something else. A stuffed rabbit toy. The same toy a missing child named Mila Harper had been holding in her last known photo. Mila had disappeared 6 months earlier from Springdale, Missouri, just 1 hour away. The girl in the footage be Mila? Had she escaped, only to find help at the wrong house, too late? When Mila's parents saw the footage, the mother broke down instantly. She said the voice, the trembling, it was exactly her daughter's. But when police ran facial mapping, they said it was inconclusive. The clip was too dark, too grainy. Weeks later, a chilling update surfaced. A local hunter found a broken lantern in the woods behind Riverbend Street. Beside it, a small piece of fabric torn from what looked like a child's dress, the same color as the one the girl wore that night. The area was searched for days, but no remains, no prints, belongings, nothing. Eventually, the case was labeled unsolved and the footage was sealed, until a copy reappeared online months later. Viewers who watched it claimed they noticed something new. At the very end of the clip, just before the girl turns away, you can hear 2 knocks, but from inside the house. The Morrison family swears they weren't home, but the sound is clear, almost like someone or something was already waiting inside. That's when long pause, deep low rumble sound. That's when she came to a door seeking help, but maybe that door was never supposed to open. Doorbell chime echoes one last time. Fade to silence. Please help me. She came to a door, seeking help, but maybe that door was never supposed to open. It started on a quiet night in Coldbrook, Maine. Hannah was home alone, watching her favorite show when her doorbell rang at 11:47 p.m. She checked her phone. The doorbell camera showed a man standing completely still, holding a box. He didn't move, didn't knock again, just stood there, like he was waiting for something. When she spoke through the intercom, her voice trembled. "Who are you?" The man slowly looked up at the camera and whispered, "You left this behind, Hannah." Her stomach dropped. He said her name. She froze. She never ordered anything, and she never told anyone she lived alone. She zoomed in on the video feed and saw the box label. It was smudged, but she could read 3 words: "From the basement room." Her heart raced. The house didn't even have a basement. Silence, faint static crackle. The man smiled, slowly lifted the box and placed it on the porch. Then he stepped back into the rain, never taking his eyes off the camera. The last thing the footage showed was him turning toward the streetlight and vanishing as thunder struck. Inside the box was a single VHS tape. The label read, "Play me if you remember." Hannah stared at the tape. Her hands shook as she slid it into the player. The screen flickered to life, covered in static and white noise. At first, there was nothing, just the sound of someone breathing behind the camera. Then, the view shifted, and the basement appeared. A single chair, a single light bulb swinging above it. And on the wall, 3 circles carved into the concrete. Hannah felt sick. Her house didn't have a basement, but that chair, that wallpaper behind it, looked exactly like her living room before the renovations. Then, a faint sound came through the tape, a woman's voice whispering. She couldn't make out the words, so she turned the volume up. Distorted whisper, "Don't let him in again." Hannah froze. The whisper was her own voice. On screen, the man appeared again, standing beside the chair, smiling faintly, holding the same box. He looked straight into the camera and said, "She doesn't remember yet." The tape glitched, static covered the frame. Then another face appeared for just a second. A woman identical to Hannah, eyes open, mouth taped shut. She screamed and pulled the tape out, but the screen stayed on. Her reflection stared back from the black glass, except the reflection was still moving. The doorbell chime echoes once. The sound came again, the doorbell. She turned toward the monitor. Live feed. There he was. Same man, same rain. But this time, he wasn't holding the box. He was holding the camera. And then he whispered, "I found her again."